What are some stupid mentalities and mindsets that need to end? The concept that both fault and responsibility can only be 100% or 0%, and that if someone else has some fault it absolves another of all responsibility. Also, if I may, that we should accept full responsibility for our pitfalls. Sometimes, it's not our fault, and we were set up to fail. Bad managers use this tactic quite a lot. They make calculated closed-room decisions, and the employee is invited to accept responsibility for those decisions. If they don't accept responsibility as they've gotten railroaded, they're narcissistic, and can't take responsibility for their actions. Another good example are toxic friends that set people up. Narcissists. I will concede that people should own their actions, and take responsibility for those. They should critically analyze, and figure out their level or degree of responsibility in any given situation. Most times, it is within the spectrum you mention. Sometimes, it's 0% or 100%. But shaming people to take responsibility for everything is a way of avoiding responsibility for their actions. I'm being persecuted when I am contradicted. My daughter would loudly protest, "Stop yelling at me," when I would calmly tell her things she didn't want to hear. She grew out of it, but some people never do. A friend of mine would do this when we were 15. I got so sick of it one day that I just went, "I'm not yelling. This is yelling." See the difference? The friends we were arguing in front of snickered a bit. I suspect they liked seeing her being called on our because she did it to everyone who disagreed with her even a little bit. This is my life as a father to a 16-year-old daughter. I also did the "I'm not shouting, this is shouting." It did not end well, with my wife accusing me of having anger issues and my daughter running out crying. But it sounded like a good idea in my head. That if I change my mind or opinion about something, I'm being fake or phony. Seriously. It baffles me that reassessing your position on something after new information is made available or after additional experience is somehow a negative thing to some. I had a guy tell me that I have a personality disorder, when I changed my opinion about a person. When person in question actually changed their behavior for better. So, yeah. I've found that people who are prone to holding grudges get almost offended if you forgive someone that they were also mad at, even if the reasons had nothing to do with them. I can fix this person who has hurt me many times. I don't get why people say I see something in them after their partner beats them. Like what? So you see a rematch? Usually it's not just physical abuse but mental abuse too. Often, they convince the person they are worthless and no one else would want them. The victim can feel that because the abuser doesn't leave them, they are good deep down. The human brain can be very cruel to itself when abused. If I could describe my father, I'd say that he's an asshole. He puts food on the table and he helps in the house chores, but he does not have a single fucking empathy in his bones, so much so that we're all afraid of making mistakes at home. My ma has contemplated divorce on their worst days, but on the average days, she'd justify my father's emotionally and mentally abusive by saying that at least he isn't physically abusive and that she's lucky. Note that my dad did hit my mom, but hey, she said it was just once and never happened again several years later. As someone who came from a very similar situation, I really feel for this, and I've met almost no one with this unique scenario. Down to my dad hitting my stepmother infrequently, twice over a 20-year marriage, one ending in broken nose and strangulation, but hey, it was just that time. Anyway, growing out of what I am only just beginning to call abuse fucking sucks. I've ended up in awful relationships because my low self-esteem. I'd grown used to the complexities of loving someone who also hurt me and other people I love. I made a lot of excuses for people because of other good qualities that somehow overruled that they treated me like garbage. That's how it was in my house. My dad was awful on his worst nights but wonderful and loving in so many other ways. So, people get stuck in that pattern. People put up with abuse because of the light at the end of the tunnel. It always gets better, they actually do love you. But that light isn't salvation, it's the sun revolving, and night will come again. Fucking awful cycle. But, I'm trying to change, and recognizing it is the first step. It sounds like you have, too, sparkling heart. Stop comparing traumas. It's not a fucking competition. Learn to have empathy and take care of each other's mental health. I'd also add not to compare stresses. At work I have been stressed the hell out for many reasons, but other co-workers just shrug off my complaints with the phrases, "Oh, you don't have kids or are not even in a relationship, what do you have to be stressed about?" I work part-time on weekends and have a full college schedule during the week. If I ever even hint that I'm tired, one of my co-workers is always there to say something like, "You're only here 2 days a week, how could you possibly be tired?" This is a real, shitty thing. I have a military friend that I play games with when he's not on deployment. Every single time I try to log off to get a good night's sleep, he says, "When do you have to get up?" Oh, that's nothing, I got like 2 hours of sleep last night, like I am not allowed to be healthy because he lives a horribly unhealthy lifestyle.